Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 22nd August 2017. The first article, Rebooting India-Nepal Relations or Nepal Ties. Let us understand the trajectory of India-Nepal relations. Note these factual points. India and Nepal enjoy a open border. And second is, Nepal is like a buffer state between India and China. And third, many of the rivers they flow from Nepal into India. When Jan Andolan was going on in Nepal, India was able to mediate between various political parties to find a solution to them way back in 2006. And India also helped Nepal in making of its constitution. And Prime Minister Modi visited Nepal twice as per his neighborhood first policy. So Nepal is the Hindu state. Later it was recognized as a secular state by the constitution. Nepal was initially a constitutional monarchy and now it was converted into a republic. So we need to understand the article from these points perspective. Now in this case, the treaty between India and Nepal, the friendship treaty, it was signed between the Nepal king and Indian ambassador to Nepal. So it was considered as an unequal treaty. And Nepal accuses India of high-handedness and big brotherly attitude from time to time. And India sees the Nepal as playing between two major powers, that is India and China. So here in 2006, the Jan Andolan has ended and Maoists have come into the mainstream. And constitutional framing has started and nothing has moved forward. And 2015, when the constitution is about to be announced, it did not provide for due space for the Madhesis. India wanted to have a province for the Madhesis or their identity to be kept intact. But however, the constitution did not provide for the same. So in this context, a blockade was started between India and Nepal is a landlocked country and it has to have poor taxes from India. So then Mr. Oli was the Prime Minister. Mr. Oli went to China and he made a trade transit agreement with China. Now Nepal and China enjoy a very good connectivity and infrastructure. Air connectivity between Nepal and China is many times higher compared with India. Now in this context, after Oli belongs to a Communist Party of Nepal, United Marxist-Leninist. And then Communist Party of Nepal Maoists and Nepal Congress have come together to form the government now. Mr. Prachanda was the Prime Minister before and now the partner Nepali Congress President Mr. Sher Bahadur Deuba has become the Prime Minister. Now this article says, the past, India has realized that its interventionism is not producing the results as expected and it wants to provide a free hand to Nepal. So, there are many other issues which both the countries have to address. One is open borders issue. India has a security concern on this particular matter and it need to be seen or need to be solved. And Sahastra Seema Bal, these are the forces, paramilitary forces that guard the border with Nepal. And there are certain excesses conducted by these forces and Nepalis have accusations against them. So sensitizing them to the Nepalis is very much important. And second is floods. The Kosi floods are a regular feature. And India wants to have dams upstream so that these floods can be arrested. But Nepal has no resources or expertise to do the same. In this context, India building the dam and buying back the electricity, that is power, will be a win-win situation for both the countries. And another aspect to this relationship is the impact of GST, impact of demonetization on Nepal. All these also need to be studied and a solution has to be found. So these are the things which we have to focus now on. So let us see forward rather than criticizing about our past. That's what the author talks about. Newsroom under siege. So today, paid news are a regular feature, and most of the politicians they are involved with advertorial, an editorial that looks like an advertisement. And print media is regulated by Press Council of India. Electronic media, it has got its own self-regulation, but the self-regulation or peer regulation has totally failed. And the Press Council of India is also a toothless tiger. So in these circumstances, how to improvise the media and its functioning in India is the article's essence. First major problem with the media in India is lack of autonomy and independence for the editorial board. So editorial board has to function as per the wishes of the management. So the management business interests have become the interests of the media, the editorial board. And then it means the TRP ratings, readership, these are the criteria which are driving the news articles rather than the truth. And third thing is regulation is necessary, and this regulation shall not intrude into the independence of media, and at the same time it shall not also give away the media the luxury of creating the news. So in this context, most of the media houses are more creating the news rather than delivering the news. And the viewership and all these things have to be improved. It means viewership recordings, data collection, readership data collection, all these have to be accurate. So these are the various recommendations given by Mr. Manu Singhvi. Prison and privileges. Yesterday I made a statement for you. Prison management is an important aspect related to criminal justice system because the deterrence of a punishment is dependent on the quality of the prison management. So I fear law when I am subjected to some, strict management in the prison. So if the prison becomes a second home with all the luxury, there is no deterrence value for the punishment. So this is what has happened with regard to Miss Sesikala and Ilavarsi. They have been seen moving in and out of the prison. So, and also they got the regular luxuries available at home at the prison. These are being exposed over there. And the next article is derailed priorities. Now, rail safety is concerned if it is discussed. Most of the accidents in India are occurring due to bad maintenance of rolling stock and also the rail. So in this, casualness of the employees is considered as the major reason. This casualness has to be arrested. So suspending or asking even a board member to go on leave, that is sending a strong signal across the organization. Along with this, corporate safety management plan, which was initiated in 2015, for 5 years it was not implemented properly, and separate budget allocations for safety are not being properly utilized, which need to be looked into to improve the rail management in India. Let's get into the next article, between sophistry and silence. So it is about reducing a person's identity to his religion or caste, especially if the person is holding a public position, is not good for the unity of the nation. That only remember this particular point. If unity of the nation is threatened, the people who are vulnerable are going to face the excesses and insecurity. This is what the point which we need to remember over here. Recasting the steel frame. It is about bureaucracy. Now, bureaucracy shall be revamped to suit to the 21st needs. We cannot run the governments with the 19th century bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is often criticized for status quoism. It means it wants to keep the things as it is. So the status quoism has to be replaced by an activeness, an adaptability, and also proactiveness towards the change. So whoever are not ready for this, these can be given a compulsory retirement. Here the second Administrative Reforms Commission has said, after 20 years of the service, there has to be a review of an officer, and if he is not fit to move forward, he shall be sent for compulsory retirement. The same is reiterated by this article. The second thing he talks about is the lateral entry. It means the private sector people, they also shall be allowed to participate in the public sector. But to what extent it is true is a major question. If you go to France, public and private sector employees move in between the organizations. But in India, once you enter into a public sector, you are a public sector employee, or you cannot enter into a government job after 35 years of age. So here, the lateral entry can bring in fresh ideas and thoughts in the government organization. But a conflict of interest can come up. A public sector employee may serve for the business needs of his old or new master. And second thing is, the lateral entry can demoralize the public sector employees. The environment between the public and private sector are quite different from each other. So, adjusting of a private sector employee with little perks in the public sector and getting the job done in the public sector is very difficult. And the next is technology. Today, technology is redefining the public service delivery. So, the same technology shall also be used in the bureaucracy. Artificial intelligence, everything can be used towards assessing the behavioral patterns and satisfying the needs of the people. Diversity in Delhi police. Here, remember one point. National Police Commission, it has made one statement. Any police force has to reflect the diversity of the population. Then only it enjoys the confidence of all the sections of the society. So if in a particular area Dalits are more, the station shall have more Dalit officers, Dalit constables. So sensitization of the police to various vulnerable sections and also maintaining the diversity of the police force with sufficient women, Dalits, Northeast population, it makes it more sensitive. So in this context, the Delhi police do not have the sufficient diversity. That is what this article talks about. And the next is, there is an article, the Modi promises support to Tamil Nadu government. So as usual, it is about a prime minister promising his support to a state government, but some politics are involved. AIADMK must report merger to the election commission because there were split factions, so the symbol was seized. Now, once their merger has been reported to election commission, the symbol may be given back. The Supreme Court to deliver verdict on triple talaq today. So, a triple talaq constitutional or not is the first question. Because Article 14, right to equality, it is being stated as triple talaq is stated as violative of Article 14. And also, the major question is, does the personal laws comes under the definition of law under Article 13? Article 13, what it states? State shall not make any law that violates the fundamental rights. If the word law includes even the personal laws, then the triple talaq becomes constitutionally invalid. So, the major question is, does the personal laws comes under the definition of the word law in the Article 13 or not? The next is Maharashtra, this particular organized crimes. So in this case, the bail provisions are supposed to be very difficult. A former MCOCA detainee gets bail. So that's not a very big news, but just remember what is MCOCA is. What are the laws which we have to fight the terrorism? MCOCA in Maharashtra, GCOCA in Gujarat. These are cited to be the best deterrent laws to fight the terrorism. Next, coming to the world page, try to keep the track of this news. Trump said to announce new Afghan policy. Try to look into that. In the final slide, I gave you the notes which is available to you at lax.in/civilsprep. Thank you very much and all the best.